Welcome to First Congregational Church, Milford, New Hampshire's annual Nativity display. This first one belongs to Paula and Jean Gregory. It was hand-painted by Paula in the 1970s for her family to enjoy. Each year, setting up the figures is a special part of the preparations for Christmas, especially placing baby Jesus in the stable. The set includes 3 wise men and their camels, 3 lamps, a goat, 2 children, a shepherd, an angel, Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. Verna and I have been collecting creches for nearly 30 years. This video has just a few of ours. This one was made by my son Jason when he was in middle school. I saw this on social media and couldn't resist. You're welcome. This next one belongs to the Nelsons. David writes, as he recalls, his mother bought some creche figures, but they didn't come with a manger. His father said, "No problem, I'll make one," and this is his version. No one knows what the real manger looked like, but it was probably not made with dimensional lumber. Anyway, his father was a pretty accomplished woodworker with strong opinions about things being straight and square, so what he would make would in no way be a ramshackle affair. This hand-carved stone creche was bought at a serve sale. This music box belongs to Sally Philbrick. She says, "I purchased it many years ago while I was employed by Darling's gift shop on the Milford Oval. It plays away in a manger." This olive wood creche was purchased at one of our Hollyberry fairs several years ago. It had belonged to Nellie Brown, one of our former church members. Upon her death, it was donated to the Christmas fair in her memory. Nellie purchased this creche on a trip to the Holy Land. It did not have a stable, but I found a matching one in the Serve catalog. The star on the stable can be gently turned, and a music box plays Silent Night. I knew Nellie Brown personally, which makes this creche very special to me. This set belongs to Liz and Geoff Campbell of Plymouth, Mass. Geoff is captain of the Patriots End Zone Militia. It's the Avon collection, a porcelain set from the 1980s. Pieces were released each year after the initial Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus, including the stable. This is a full set pictured minus the Christ child, who will not be visible until Christmas Eve. These are the smallest set in the Hoyt's collection. The tall one is 3.5 to 4 inches tall, and the one next to it is 1 inch wide by 2/3 of an inch tall. These were bought at a serve sale about 8 or 9 years ago. This large set was a gift from a member of the congregation to KARYL Whittier. The unique part of this is that the pieces move and it plays Christmas carols. Betsy Sullivan says, "My parents gave me this nativity scene back in 1973 when I was first married, and I've had it set up each Christmas thereafter. It's a wonderful reminder of the real meaning of Christmas, and it's also a nice memory of my parents who have since passed. I will always cherish this beautiful gift, which has seen over 45 Christmases in the Sullivan household and could tell numerous stories of our celebrations. The one most delightful story it would tell was when my 2 boys were very young, and they knew what was off limits and should not be handled. At Christmas time, they were not to play near the tree or touch the ornaments, and the nativity scene was to be looked at and not touched. You can imagine my surprise when this one day I went into the living room and there they were sitting on the floor with the nativity scene, and they had all the wise men standing on the floor far away from the manger. I asked what they were doing, and they told me the wise men were traveling to find the baby Jesus. They proceeded to tell me the story of how Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem and had to stay in a barn because where Jesus was born. I was taken aback and was speechless. I knew they had disobeyed, and yet they were showing me an understanding of what Christmas was about. I was in a dilemma. Do I discipline or do I go with the flow? Then, as I looked around, I saw the sheep you see here in the manger, and I asked where they came from. They said the manger needed sheep, so they got some from their toy farm so it would look even more real. Well, those sheep have stayed with the manger ever since. And we talked about how they shouldn't have played with the nativity scene without asking, but this was such a wonderful thing that they wanted to reenact the story of Jesus' birth that they were allowed to play with it with my supervision, as long as they were careful and put it back in its place when they were done. They played with it for a few more Christmases, and now as I set it up, I remember how they made this nativity scene come to life and how it touched my heart. This porcelain set was a wedding gift from KARYL Whittier's parents. This hand-carved set is from Indonesia and was another serve sale item. This snow globe plays O Little Town of Bethlehem. This tiny handmade creche was a gift to Pastor Alan Verna from Dave and Permy Sears. This large nativity set belongs to the church. Over the years, the barn has been rebuilt, a wise man's head has been glued back on, and Pastor Al has the habit of accidentally kicking the camel every time he serves communion. This ornament looks like a locket. This olive wood creche is similar to Sally Philbrick's and was also bought at a serve sale. It was hand-carved in Israel. This is a hand-painted tree ornament. We found this resin wall hanger at a church rummage sale. The metal silhouette came from Christmas tree shops. This globe plays Silent Night, and the parts move. And there's a close-up. This 3-inch glass ornament was a gift from a friend. This porcelain tree ornament came from Christmas tree shops. How appropriate. This was the top for a long-lost Yankee candle. I love it because the sheep looks like a porcupine. This nativity set is from Africa. It's hand-carved from ebony wood, one of the hardest woods known to man. It was a wedding gift to Al and Verna from our pastor, Gary Marks, and his wife, Kathy, and our dear friends, Doug and Lois Post. This rustic creche was a gift from Al's parents in 1974 when our kids were little. They are 45, 41, and 35 now. They like to add figures to it. Over the years, it has hosted Gumby and Pokey, The Grinch, Snow White, Smurfs, Transformers, My Little Pony, several different penguins, and almost every character from Star Wars. Yoda just seems to be a natural. This is from Jim and Janelle George. Jim's mom, Arlene, gave each of her children a piece from the Avon Nativity set. They're from the 1980s. The complete set would sit on top of an upright piano in their living room and be the nightlight during the holidays. This hand-painted 3-piece set, when Janelle was about 10 years old, she took ceramics in 4-H. She chose these 3 pieces, hand-painted them, and then her 4-H leader kiln-fired them. Each year they would set them up in the living room near a window, and now she sets them near a window in her home. Jeannie Philbrick says, my aunt bought me this creche at Jordan Marsh in the middle 60s, and I've put it up every year since. This set comes from Carol and Gil SILVA of Woodstock, New Hampshire. Made by Willie Ray Studios, it was a gift shop in Plymouth, Mass., more or less across from the Butner Building, which carried some really special items. This was probably in the early 90s. As an animal lover, I absolutely fell in love with these figures and decided it was time to replace my plaster creche that I collected from Woolworth decades before. It took a few Christmases to complete this scene. Mary holds a dove, Joseph a lamb, there's a bunny on the crib, a cat on the cow, and a chicken on top the donkey. To me, it's a very joyful creche that we look forward to enjoying every year. And from all of us at First Congregational Church, Milford, New Hampshire, we want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year. God bless you all.